Hey, what's up everybody? This is Superbrick501 and today I want to go over the best ways to farm attribute shards in Outriders. Now before we get into the video, only 6% of people that watch my videos are subscribed to my channel. So make sure to subscribe if you want to keep up with all of my videos. And if you haven't gotten endgame yet or messed around a lot with the upgrading of items, attribute shards are incredibly important for the endgame and creating a powerful build. Once you get to a certain level, every item will have 3 attributes on them, and all 3 of those attributes will be able to be upgraded 6 times. So the total of 18 upgrades on a single item. And the higher level of the item, the more it's going to cost you to upgrade those attributes. But this is incredibly important for creating a strong build and getting into the high challenge tiers, because it gives you a massive amount of power, even just upgrading one attribute from 1 to 6. And you upgrade these attributes with attribute shards. So essentially how it works is any item you get in the game will have a shard symbol next to one of its attributes. If you dismantle that item, it will then give you a certain amount of attribute points that correspond with what attribute had the shard symbol next to it. And how many shard points you get is determined by the level of that item. It's not determined by the rarity, it's only determined by the level, and you get 1 shard per level of the item. So if you say have a weapon at level 28 that has the shard symbol next to its crit damage, if you dismantle that, that will give you 28 crit damage. And every upgrade you do is going to cost a certain amount of those shards. So say if you have a level 50 item, it could cost 150 crit damage shards to get 1 upgrade. So I wanted to go in game to show you guys this, so it might be a little bit easier to understand actually seeing it, and then we'll go over the farms after. Also, there will be timestamps, so if you want to skip to certain parts of the video, you can do that. So first off, we have a level 28 green item here. As you see, the weapon life leech is what has the shard symbol on it. So if we go to dismantle this, you can actually get on here and see what you're going to get. You're going to get plus 28 to weapon life leech. So that's level 28, gives you 28 to that shard. And the same thing with whatever rarity. So we have a blue level 28 with long range damage. If we try to dismantle this, it's going to give us 28 again. The rarity does not factor in when getting shards. And then we also have a level 42 item here. We dismantle it, gives us 42 to armor pierce. And the same with a level 50 item. It's going to give us plus 50 to the healing received on this. So the only thing you have to determine when dismantling items in terms of what shard you're going to get is what level the item is and where the shard symbol is at on the item. So with that being said, I think there are 2 best ways to farm shards once you get into the endgame. If you're still getting through world tiers or just starting your expeditions, just starting your challenge tiers, I wouldn't worry too much about farming up shards, because until you get to high challenge tiers, it's much better to sell most items to a vendor to be able to get titanium to keep your items upgraded to your level, instead of dismantling all your items and worrying about shards. And it's much more time efficient to just wait till your items are level 50 before upgrading them with shards. So the first way to go about farming these shards is to go on World Tier 15 and do a high volume item farm. And one of the best ones I have found, I've gone over in a bunch of videos because it's just so good, is the Trench Battle Farm. So you go to the Trench Town main campaign chapter, then you go to push back the insurgents in No Man's Land, and you will fight up a hill up through a bunch of trenches. And this is super good because you're fighting just tons of enemies, you're fighting tons of breachers that have a decent chance to drop items, then you're facing a ton of elite enemies that also have guaranteed drops and will usually drop 2 items a piece. And if you're doing this on World Tier 15, these will all be level 42 items, and it's not that hard, especially if you're a decent bit into your challenge tiers. And this is going to be a very high volume farm, so in an hour you're going to get a ridiculous amount of weapons. I've done this farm for an hour before when my character wasn't near as strong as it is now, and pretty much every slot on my character, so weapons, all my armor piece slots, were all completely filled with items, and a bunch of items got auto looted and sent to my stash. So you can get dozens and dozens and dozens of items in that hour that are all going to give 42 attribute shards when you dismantle them. And the idea behind this is that you're still getting a good amount of attribute shards per item, but you're doing a bit easier of a farm. So you should still be getting a ton of shards, and possibly even more than you'd be able to get farming level 50 items. And the second farm farm is much more of an endgame farm when you have a super strong build and you're able to do, say, challenge tier 15s very easily. Because like we went over, how many shards you get per item is dependent on the level. So if you can do challenge tier 15 runs very quickly and you have a really well built character, it will be a very good farm as well, because every item you get will give you 50 shards. Now, I don't think you will be able to farm as many items, even if you have a god rolled build. I don't think you'll be able to farm as many items on challenge tier 15 as you'll be able to do going to world tier 15 and farming that trench, but you're getting a bit more shards per item. So I think both of these farms are going to be pretty equivalent, but the trench farm on world tier 15 is just going to be much easier. You're going to be able to do it much earlier on, and the challenge tier 15 farm will be for once you have an incredibly strong build and want to put the final touches on it by farming all the shards and upgrading all of your attributes on all of your items. So just a quick TLDR, the level of the item is what determines how many attribute shards you get from an item. The shard symbol next to one of the attributes determines what attribute shards you get from dismantling that item. And the two farms you can do is high volume item farms on world tier 15, the trench as an example. And the second farm is once you have an incredibly strong build to go do challenge tier 15 runs as quick as you possibly can to get as many shards per item as you can. So subscribe if you want to see more Outriders or other videos. Leave a like if you liked the video. Leave a comment down below what you guys think about these shard farms, and thanks for watching.